Well, Mitch, not a bad September tune-up. Collingwood, North, and now Sydney. Does that set you in good stead? I mean, how does that sort of impact on the run into September?
I'm not sure. I guess playing good sides, it gives you a bit of a feeler for what September's going to be like. But finals is a different ball game, and we're not there yet. We've got another game to play between now and then. But obviously Sydney are going to be there too, so they're in the same boat as us. And we got. It's funny. You look a couple of weeks ago, you knew every game we play now is going to be a tough one against a good side. So I guess it gives you a good run in, but time will tell whether that works for us or whether having a slightly easier run going into finals would have worked.
Just to look back before you look forward and reflect on the match against North, what do you take from it? And is it a really tough encounter, I guess?
Yeah, it was. You take a bit of confidence out of it because I think North, you look at the ladder and you think, maybe they're not going that well. But then you look at their percentage on the ladder and you think, gee, they've obviously a pretty good side. And, we felt that they were a really good team and we were happy to get over the line. They really challenged us. We had to play a lot of different ways to try and overcome them. And, we had some players play some really good footy and it was good to be challenged and be able to respond in the right manner and come and play well and get the points.
Nice to have that top 2 spot in your back pocket. You know you'll be at the MCG first week of the finals.
I hope so. I hope so. I guess that was our going into the game. Sometimes guess we knew we were going to finish in the top 4, but top 2 was really important for us. We wanted to make sure we finished with a home final, which time will tell whether that actually happens. But we wanted to make sure we were playing in Melbourne. It was good to get a winner on the weekend, and now we go up to Sydney with top position on the line in a way, and making sure that we can really play good footy to give us some good confidence going into the finals.
So still going all out absolutely this weekend and making sure you keep your momentum going for that top spot.
Yeah, no one will be rested, so we'll be playing our A game.
You played in the back line a bit early in the season. Are you sort of back in the midfield now permanently, and what was the rationale behind you playing back for a while?
No, I'm still playing a little bit in the back line now, just mixing it around a little bit. I think once Matty Suckling went down, it probably meant we needed a little bit more creativity in our back line. Birch has missed a fair chunk of this season as well. Hodgie and Shawnee Burgon obviously play a fair bit in the back line, and being able to go down there and help those guys and release them into the midfield, I think helps our structure a little bit and maybe makes us a little bit harder to match up on. Being able to play a few different roles has, I think, helped us this year. Most guys have been able to play 1 or 2 roles, and coming into a game preparing against Hawthorn, hopefully that makes it a little bit harder for opposition coaches. Knowing what you're going to get sometimes makes it pretty easy to plan for, but I guess hopefully when you play against Hawthorn, you're not sure whether Hodgie's going to be a midfielder or a defender, and Sean's probably the same. And I mean, Ruffy is a great example. He plays midfield, he's played a little bit in the back line and played a lot in the forward line. So being able to play different positions has been important for us this year.
Does it help to get rid of a tag too?
That's not really the reason for it. Obviously, Birch copped a pretty hard tag on the weekend, and it was probably me the week before. So being able to change the guard in that sense a little bit. Everyone's got a role to play. When you get a tag, then you've got a slightly different role. It's not so much about getting the footy, it's about freeing other guys up, and being able to do that has been, it's part of the selfless part of the game, which is something we pride ourselves on. And I thought Birch did a great job on the weekend, being able to free up a guy like Hodgie to play really good footy because he was getting such a tight run with.
Speaking of the back line, Brian Lake, do you feel like he could be the difference between getting to the grand final and then actually winning one? It's something that can stop those big brute forwards. It's so important come final time.
Yeah, certainly that was the reason he was recruited. We wanted, a little bit more defensive stability, and he's been able to give us that. He obviously marks very well off opposition kicks and brings the ball to ground regularly. Doesn't get out marked too often. He's given us a lot of that defensive stability behind the ball, and he's been able to play really good footy for us. Probably had a bit of a slow start to the year, and people were asking questions, but to his credit, he soldiered on and really tried to buy into the way we've gone about our footy, and some of it's a little bit different and unnatural from the way he probably played before, but he's done a great job for us and has had a really good year.
Ruffy's looking in a pretty strong position to win the Collingwood now. Would you be pretty happy for him if he can grab an individual accolade to go with his career?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everyone in the game would love Ruffy to win a Coleman medal. He's probably spent a lot of time in behind Bud, but for him to be going pretty well, I mean, obviously, as players, you don't think too much about individual awards, but as a mate of mine, I mean, I'd love to go over to his place and see a Coleman medal hanging there. But that's, to be honest, when it comes to Friday night, that'll be the last thing on any of our minds. But if that happens, then you certainly take it.
Last week, the coach spoke about stepping it up again. Do you feel like you've got to really step it up again? Is that, you know, have you got more to give?
Yeah, I mean, you don't. We had a bit of a chat last week of, I think against Collingwood, we gave up 3 or 4 goals at defensive 50 stoppages, and we sort of had a bit of a chat to say, you know, if we're finishing a final and that's happened, then how would you feel about it? And then sort of trying to project a little bit like you mentioned before about go forward to get back and thinking about how that would feel at the time. You know, you have to get everything right because you're not going to get a second chance, you know, coming now. So obviously we've got this week to fine tune what we're trying to do, and after that, you know, it's just going to be helter-skelter. Everything you do has got to be right. You know, you've got to get every little aspect of your game. There's so much in a game of footy. Sometimes you think it's a simple game, but when you do it at a professional level, there's so many things you've got to get right. And when it comes to finals footy, just so important.
We've been talking so much about so many other issues outside of footy, obviously. Does it feel like September? I know it sounds silly, does it?
Oh, not yet. It's still cold. Maybe up in Sydney this week it'll be a bit warmer and it might feel like September. But I think it's a good time of year. I think footy takes over. The actual game itself takes over now, and I think that's what everyone wants. That's what media want to be reporting on. It's what fans want to see. It's what people at home want to talk about and see is footy, not the stuff that goes on in the peripheral, not the theatre of it all. The actual game, and that's the focus of the game. Comes in, very, very tight in September. So I sort of get into that time now, which is I think what we all want to be doing. We want to be in the AFL business for the sport, not for the theatre.
Do you feel for the guys at Windy Hill?
Yeah. I mean, of course, you don't want to be in that position, but they've done a great job for a long time, haven't they? They've stuck together, and it's amazing to think where they are on the ladder, considering the amount of stuff they've had to go through off the field.
Liam Shields. Sam, have you got any information on how he's going?
No, I haven't seen him yet this morning, but he's not in yet. But I think he hurt his ankle that was already kept him out for a while. So hopefully it's not as bad. He said to me after the game that it wasn't as bad as last time, but I guess when you re-injure something, it's not a great sign. So you got to feel for him. But having said that, he might be back this week. I honestly couldn't tell you if I haven't seen him yet. So
he came straight back in and went and did the run with roll on Brent Harvey before
Yep.
he hurt himself. Is it kind of in that way? He's a pretty important part of his structure, isn't he? So you'd be hoping to get him back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's one of those guys you can call on. You know he's going to do his role and do a good job, and very diligent, very selfless in the way he goes about his footy, and he's just happy playing his role and doing his bit for the team. And you love having guys like that. You love going to play footy across that white line with guys like him that are just willing to do anything to help the team win. And his first game back for 10 or 12 weeks, he's so happy to be back in the side, and then he's doing a roll on Boomer for us, and then he gets hurt. But he was nothing but positive after the game. So hopefully for him, it's a good sign, and for us too.